Davy, and I'm awesome! And welcome to Davy's Awesome Movies, where I review the styles of movies I love, the alternative B-rated cult-style flicks. This week it's time for the fourth installment to the Troll series. Kinda, sort of. This movie was made in 1990, which, if you guys have been watching, you're going to be like, wait a second, the third one was made in 1993, so how is this number 4? I'll get to that later. And it was written and directed by Joe D'Amato under his pseudonym David Hills, because for some reason these Italian directors and these Italian-made movies can't just use their real names. And it was produced by Carlo Maria Cordillo, made and distributed by Film Mirage. Ladies and gentlemen, Troll 3: The Sword of Power, also known as Quest for the Mighty Sword, also known as Ator 3: The Hobgoblin, also known as The Hobgoblin. But the copy I have is Quest for the Mighty Sword. The movie opens with the sentencing of 3 rapists by Prince Ator, played by Eric Allen Kramer. Now, not only is this technically the 4th in the Troll series, but it's also technically the 4th in the Ator series, which again, if you were listening a minute ago, you're like, but you said this is Ator 3? I'll get to that. But this is also the first Ator movie that did not feature Miles O'Keefe as Ator, rather Eric Allen Kramer. But then again, Joe D'Amato, the creator of Ator and Ator 2, decided not to follow any of the continuity within the other Ator movies when he made this one. One rapist pleads guilty and is sentenced to death. So far so good. The other 2 want an appeal of justice by the gods, which means they can live if they can defeat Prince Ator. They can't, so they die. So 3 rapists dead in the beginning. Is there a better way to start a movie? But immediately after the execution, Ator! That's Thorn, who wants the sword that Ator has. Which I can understand, because that sword is badass. And he's about to fight Ator for it.
Do not kill Ator, Thorn! He has shown wisdom in all his doings.
That's Daenerys, or Daenara, or Daenerys. They pronounce it all of those ways within this movie, so I'm gonna go with Daenara. She's telling Thorn to spare Prince Ator because he's good and wise and has done really good things for his people.
You'll pay for this, Daenerys.
Pay for what? Speaking? Triggered! Well, that was a lackluster fight. But after this, we see Thorn's true image. He's a goblin! As far as Daenerys is concerned, her punishment is that she's going to be kept in a prison of fire, and she will remain there until a man is strong enough to break through. But once he does, she will lose the immortality that has been given to her by Thorn.
As punishment for having preferred mortality.
Yeah, how dare you stand up for a rapist killer? Then we see Nephile. Turns out she's been telling the story to young Ator, the son of Prince Ator who was killed in the beginning. He's now all grown up.
What mortal would have the strength to overcome Thorn's fire?
And looks exactly like his dad because they didn't want to get another actor. Nephile tells him the mortal that can do this is the one who can wield the sword of his father. But Grendel still has it in 2 pieces.
And he will do everything he can to break the promise he gave to your mother.
Then she goes into the story of Ator's mother, bringing the sword and her son to Grendel, and offering him her son.
Raise him as you would your own son.
This is the only way that this movie is actually connected to any of the other Troll movies. It's connected to Troll 2 because of that mask. The princess, son, also wants Grendel's help in ending her life.
And the law does not allow that a prince's wife outlive her husband.
That is a horrible law. So, ladies, complain all you want, but things have gotten a lot better. Grendel agrees and gives her a potion that he says will make her go to sleep, and then she'll die off peaceably. And Son has one last talk with her son.
From now on, old Grendel will take care of you.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You're a crappy mom. She drinks the potion, but it doesn't actually kill her. Instead, it gets her to do this.
Ew.
It made her in the mood for some Grendel. Because of this drugging,
The god condemned your mother to eternal madness.
Man, this movie is really harsh on women. Nephili tells Ator that it is his destiny to have that sword, because it is now his 18th birthday. Because I totally believe that actor is 18.
I have a surprise for you.
Ooh, I love surprises.
Here is the sword of the sacred ground.
Now Ator has a surprise for Grendel. Followed by another surprise from Grendel. As it turns out, Grendel made a fake sword.
The race of man was not to be trusted, Ator.
Okay, I agree with you that the race of man can't be trusted, but look who's talking here. You deceived his mom into taking a potion that was supposed to help kill her, but ended up making her horny for you, raised this boy as your slave, and then tricked him by giving him a fake sword that you were supposed to reforge because apparently only you could reforge this sword so that it would keep its magic, and then you're going to say that man can't be trusted? Okay, Pot, maybe you should stop complaining about how dark the kettle is. Later, Ator is really doing a good job of pretending to be asleep. And Grendel pulls something out. So once Grendel's back is turned, Ator makes a move! Okay, that's twice, so shame on you.
I'm gonna kill you sometime!
He traps Ator and tells him that he will regain his sight by the time that he comes back. Although, honestly, I think at that point, I'd be like, dude, you tried to kill me twice. Just get out of my house. Ator starts to regain his sight, and he finds something. But it's still in two pieces. And the reason that his mom brought him to Grendel in the first place is because Grendel is the only one that can reforge it and keep its magic. So Ator goes about reforging it. Proving that his mom was wrong, and therefore just a really horrible mom. Also proving that Joe D'Amato cannot consistently tell a story. You know, I'm no blacksmith, but I'm pretty sure the whole process of reforging a sword takes more than a couple minutes. Grendel comes back. Yeah! Ator runs out and calls for Nephili to keep her promise and show him where Dehanara is.
Follow the path, please.
So he runs off. At some point, Nephili shows up and tells him what he must do to free Dehanara.
You must free the treasure of the kingdom of the West and offer it to the gods.
So now they head to the Kingdom of the West. When they get there, she tells him that he must defeat Eric Idle. That guy? He's gotta be him? Hold on, let me check my notes. Oh, Eric and Idle. Gotcha. Okay, he must defeat Eric and Idle.
If you can separate them, perhaps you can defeat them.
Then we meet Eric and Idle. Separate them. These undefeated vicious killers come after Ator. Really? Ator goes around and sneaks up behind them. So really, nobody before Ator ever thought to try this? Because that wasn't that hard. Then his next challenge. What the hell is that? So apparently these vicious obstacles that all these skulls and stuff around you can tell was really difficult, really weren't that difficult to begin with. Ator goes into the treasure room and calls out to the gods.
I offer you the richest treasure in all the lands of the West!
Well, that was an adventure. Ator heads out to find Dehanara, and when he does, I wouldn't really call that a prison of fire. I mean, it's just a couple of fires lit up for light. Ator awakens Dehanara.
You no longer live forever like the gods. You live and die like a mortal.
Woo! Then Thorn unveils his wrath. Stock footage! You fiend! Ator and Dehanara get out of the prison and away from Thorn's dangerous stock footage. But you can't escape my stock footage!
You put your palm down and thrust your pelvis. Thrust your pelvis. Thrust your pelvis.
Ator and Daihanara decide if they can get to Middleworld, that'll be away from Thorn and they will escape his wrath. On their way, they stop at a bar with some unruly people.
So your fault! Let me bring bad luck!
This gambler is freaking out because he's a sore loser and he's been losing to this other guy, Skoid, for a while. So Skoid doesn't want to play anymore.
Pick up those dice! Leave him be!
But Ator has had enough! That's the whole fight. The owner comes out to throw out the prostitute.
Trouble! It's not her fault!
By the way, no, Ator does not recognize that that is his mother. Just then a woman takes notice of Ator.
He will be mine.
Later, the prostitute comes to Ator to offer herself to him.
Ew.
For helping her.
Ew.
Because this is her curse. And the curse ends...
When a man looks at me not as a woman, but as a mother.
At this point, Ator does finally realize that's his mother.
Mother.
And as he embraces her, she rapidly ages. A lot. As Ator and Daihanara continue on their way to Middleworld, they encounter some creatures. And Skoid from the bar is there. After they all fight him off, Skoid runs ahead of them. Way ahead. And once they catch up...
Dinner's ready.
How thoughtful! It also makes no sense, because how would he get that far ahead of them to where he could go hunt and cook an entire beast in the time it took them to catch up to him when they're all on foot? But hey, still thoughtful, I guess. Just as they are about to eat, they are surrounded. And they've taken Daihanara. But who are they?
Ator! They were Hagen's men.
Who's Hagen? And why is this movie all over the place? So Ator and Skoid go after her. But what about dinner? Then we see Hagen.
If you will permit me, Your Majesty, I suggest you prepare yourself properly for the encounter.
Hagen is a goblin who is also the head of Prince Gunther's soldiers. Apparently they don't have any kings in this world. By the way, Hagen is also played by the same actor who plays both Thorn and Grendel. This movie was really low budget. So low budget that apparently they could not afford another little person actor. And it turns out that Prince Gunther had ordered Hagen to get Daihanara for him.
Let me see her.
We also meet Gunther's sister.
Until Ator is mine, you won't lay a finger on Daihanara.
That's the woman from the bar, Grimaldi. This Prince Gunther, by the way, is obsessed with statues so much that he constantly dips people and animals into hot porcelain, then dries them out. He even did it to a cat. So he's not all bad. Finally, Ator and Skoid rush in.
Ator, my love. We didn't want to start until you arrived.
Yeah, great plan. You two just rush in to a castle filled with soldiers, letting them know you're there. However, nobody attacks. Daihanara just simply walks over to Ator.
It has all been a terrible mistake.
The mistake she's referring to is this movie. Hagen tells Ator that his soldiers were actually looking for the kidnapped Princess Grimaldi and took Daihanara by mistake. I think he's lying. And they offer Ator anything he wants to forgive their mistake. But he's humble and all he asks for is a few days' worth of supplies.
Your wish is my command.
Do I get a wish too? Because my wish is for a 6th Troll movie. But in this one, killer chairs. And it will star Felissa Rose and Terry Crews. And the main villain will be played by Tommy Wiseau. I guarantee you, both myself and the film bestie would watch the crap out of that movie. Later, Skoid, Ator, and Daihanara have gone on their journey, and Skoid is making dinner again. Hopefully you won't waste it this time. And Ator notices something strange.
This doesn't sound like you.
It's not. It's Grimaldi, magically disguised as Daihanara. The real Daihanara is still at Gunther's castle. Trying to get out. But hey, if you really want to get out of there, just remind Gunther that you're not his true love, Rachel is.
No!
Not that, Rachel. She doesn't get away. Gunther tries to tell her that he will give her anything she wants. Any and everything. Including his throne.
In exchange for a little love.
Dude. And I thought I had no game. Back to the others, Grimaldi tells Ator the truth.
You'll pay for this.
Thankfully, Skloyd steps in and tells Ator to just let her live.
Let her live. Will be a worse punishment.
I agree, because she'll have to live knowing that she was in this movie. Ator realizes that Skloyd must have known the whole time.
Daenerys would never have spoken to me like that.
How would you know? You literally knew her for like 5 minutes before she was taken. Gunther decides that since Daenerys will never love him, he's going to submerge her in porcelain and make a statue out of her. Ator and Skloyd get into the castle and we see Ator's new weapon. His new weapon, of course, being bad editing. I'm sorry, but there is no excuse for bad editing. Ator shoots down the two guards and they go after Hagen. I think we kind of all knew he was going to die eventually. With Skloyd's last breath, though, he gives Ator his boomerang.
You might need it.
Rude! Ator runs in as Daenerys is being lowered into hot porcelain. Bet you feel bad for throwing it away now, don't you? Gunther says, though, he refuses to let Ator be the one that kills him. He's going to make himself into a statue and a work of art forever.
Look me! Look me!
He also takes Hagen with him. So, with the day saved, Ator and Daenerys leave for Middle-world. Oh, right, Thorn, the one you were supposed to get revenge on. But I guess this means it sets up for a sequel. Thank God that didn't happen. So there you have it. That's Troll 3, The Sword of Power, / Quest for the Mighty Sword, / Ator 3, The Hobgoblin, / The Hobgoblin. It's not very uncommon for them to give these very bad low-budget movies several names. Now granted, this movie had no continuity with the other Troll movies, or even the other Ator movies. Then again, it really didn't even have any continuity within its own movie. Another funny thing is, again, it is the fourth in both the Troll and the Ator series, which makes no sense, but let's get into those. We'll start with the Ator movies. Ator came out, released mostly in America as Ator the Fighting Eagle. Then there was Ator 2. Then Joe D'Amato got taken off the Ator series, which he didn't really want to do anymore anyways, because both the first movies were just kind of their answer to the Conan movies that were coming out and making a lot of money at the time. And right before Ator 3, it was announced that they were not going to do another Conan movie. So Ator 3 was done by a different director, writer, and producer, and called The Iron Warrior. When Joe D'Amato decided to make the fourth Ator movie, he also decided he was not going to acknowledge this as the fourth Ator movie, but the third, which is why he named it Ator 3. So even though it's Ator 3, it's again technically the fourth in the Ator series. But again, doesn't really have any continuity with those movies anyways. You may be going like, well, Davey, you should have reviewed those movies first. Trust me, it's not going to confuse anybody. As far as it being the fourth in the Troll series, what makes a little less sense about that is this was made in 1990, whereas Troll 3, also known as Contamination Point 7, also known as the Creepers, and also known as the Crawlers, was made in 1993. The reason this is technically the fourth is because it wasn't released in Germany as Troll 3, The Sword of Power until after 93. So at that point, it became the fourth in the Troll series. So it's the fourth in two series of movies that it has nothing to do with either of them. You confused? So am I, and I've known about this for years. As far as this movie goes, this is another one from my brother and my childhood. We watched it when it was on free programming of HBO. During those weeks, they would try to get people to buy it by free programming it. And we watched it a few times and laughed at how horrible it was. Then completely forgot about it until several years ago when I was watching it right here on the YouTubes and started texting my brother like, hey, I think we've seen this movie. And he goes, okay, let me check it out. He starts checking it out, and he's like, I think so too, this looks familiar. The part that cemented it for me was the sword smashing over Grendel's head. That was when I was like, yes, I've seen this movie. It was horrible even when I was 10 years old. But as horrible as it is, it's fun to watch, it's fun to make fun of. So, on that note, if you're like me, you like to watch bad movies and sit there heckling them while you're watching them, you should check out Troll 3, The Sword of Power, also known as Quest for the Mighty Sword, also known as Ator 3, The Hobgoblin, also known as The Hobgoblin. Pick whichever name you want. More than likely, you're going to find the copy of Quest for the Mighty Sword. That's the one that's most known in America. So there you have it. That's my movie review this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notifications for when I post new videos, and leave a comment. Tell me which one of the Troll series is your favorite so far. Tell me what you thought of Quest for the Mighty Sword. And keep tuned, because there is one more in the Troll series that I'm going to get to. Love you guys.